Where is 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery? What happened to her? These are questions that have remained unanswered for more than 2 years in Manchester, New Hampshire. Harmony's parents were not together, and she lived with her father, Adam. But sometime in the fall of 2019, Harmony vanished. But no one said anything. There was no call to police. There was no alert. There was no search. Just a little girl missing and no one looking for her. That changed in late 2021, and now everyone is looking for her. And today, the FBI and local investigators finished going through her father's old apartment. Tonight, we have all the latest details in the search for Harmony Montgomery. Then, we take you inside the courthouse in Orlando, Florida, where Danielle Redlick took the stand in her own defense, claiming she stabbed her husband, Michael, in self-defense.
Ms. Redlick, you just heard yourself tell Detective Ware that you did not murder your husband. Heard that?
Yes.
You were lying to her when you told her that, correct?
I stabbed my husband. Wasn't considering that murder.
We have heard what she had to say on the witness stand, but tonight we'll tell you what her body language was saying. I'm Vinnie Politan. Great to have you with us tonight here for hour one of closing arguments, and we're going to get to Danielle Redlick, body language expert. We'll take a look at her testimony, but we're going to begin with the search for Harmony Montgomery. And I want to start talking about the Constitution. You know, we get a whole bunch of rights in the Constitution, but there are times where those rights can be wrong. Wait, don't start screaming at me yet, okay? Here's what I mean. We have the right to remain silent, the fifth, right? You know, what you say can and will be used against you, so many people remain silent. And no one can force you to say anything, right? You have that constitutional right to remain silent. But there are times where it's wrong to remain silent, when it's wrong to not say anything. Let me give you some examples. Let's say a crime takes place, and you're an eyewitness to the crime. You see it, and you say nothing. That's wrong. You're a witness to a crime, someone has been wronged, you have information that could help find the person responsible, depending upon what the crime is, right? It could be a murder, could be a rape, could be a breaking and entering. Whatever it is, you saw something, the right thing is to say something, even if it's anonymously, if you're afraid that someone's going to come out to get you. But to remain completely silent under those circumstances, to me, seems like the wrong thing to do, even though you have the right to do it. Let me give you another example. This one hits a little closer to home for me. Kaylee Marie Anthony, little girl from Orlando, Florida, went missing. For 31 days, 31 days, her mother said nothing about it. That's really wrong. Really wrong. A month your child is missing, or a month something happened to your child, and you say nothing to anyone? No one's going to say that's right. You may have the right to say that, although when you're in charge of a child, maybe you do have some sort of an obligation, don't you? Now, let's talk about Harmony Montgomery. 2 years. 2 years she is missing, and no one says anything. That's just outrageous. Absolutely outrageous that a beautiful little girl like this would go missing. No one says anything. No one calls the police, no one calls 911, no one searches, no one looks, no one cares. It's outrageous. Tonight, we're going to talk about the latest in the search for Harmony Montgomery, but let's begin with her story. This is little 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery clutching her doll and smiling for the camera. When you look at this picture, everything seems very normal. Harmony seems happy and cared for. But sometimes, pictures can be very deceiving because Harmony's world is anything but normal and happy. Her father has been arrested and charged with second-degree assault. The victim, his 5-year-old daughter, little Harmony. But that's not the most troubling part of Harmony's world. This picture is from 2019, and there are not any newer pictures of Harmony. The photographs of this little angel are all over 2 years old. That's because she's been missing since October or November of 2019.
Help us find this little girl. Someone knows something, do what is right, and call in. I cannot emphasize that enough. Somebody out there knows something. It's time for people to do the right thing.
According to a police affidavit, Harmony's mother, Crystal Sori, says she lost custody to Harmony's father, Adam, because she was dealing with a substance abuse problem. She says the last time she saw Harmony was a FaceTime call on Easter of 2019. Meanwhile, Harmony's father, Adam, says Crystal picked up Harmony for Thanksgiving in 2019, but Adam's girlfriend at the time says Adam told her he dropped Harmony off at Crystal's. Now, back to the assault charges. Adam's uncle claims that Adam admitted to bashing Harmony around the house and witnessing Harmony being spanked very hard, forced to stand in the corner for hours, and scrubbing the toilet with her toothbrush. So while the court system is dealing with the charges against Adam Montgomery, the chief is still looking for this beautiful little girl in the photo.
Quite frankly, enough is enough. It's a 7-year-old girl. Let's find her, all right? Let's come together as a community and do the right thing. That's all I'm asking, and I don't think I'm asking a lot. If people think that I am, then I'll leave it at that.
So yesterday, the search heated up in Manchester, New Hampshire. We have some video to show you from the scene. You've got FBI, local investigators, people going in and out of this apartment complex, everyone evacuated out of there as the search was going on throughout the day. I want to bring in Court TV legal correspondent Joy Lim Nakrin, who joins me here in studio to talk about yesterday's search. I know you took a deep dive and you're from up in the New England area, spent a lot of time up there. What can you tell us about yesterday?
Yeah, so the short answer is what we saw, we can tell you about, but investigators are being really tight-lipped about exactly what they took out of that apartment where Harmony Montgomery's dad lived with her stepmom. Want to show you this video, though, of what we can tell you, which is that authorities were wheeling this refrigeration unit out of a box truck, actually into the apartment where Adam and Kayla Montgomery lived. And at the same time, I should say a couple hours later, they were also seen bringing an older refrigeration unit out of the building. And that also, at the same time, some items that were wrapped in paper bags. Now, they're not talking about what those items were and what this is all about, because as you know, Vinny, that could potentially compromise the investigation. In fact, the New Hampshire Attorney General said as much, saying, quote, due to the ongoing investigation, no additional information will be released at this time. Officials asked the public to respect the privacy of the current residents of 644 Union Street and to stay off their property as the investigation continues. The search for Harmony also continues. Law enforcement still requesting the public's assistance in locating her, and that number that we've been showing, that's the number that you should call or text, 603-203-6060 if you have any information about where she might be. But, you know, really still a mystery what exactly they were taking in and out of that building. That home where Adam Montgomery and the stepmom Kayla also lived, and still a mystery where Harmony is. They're offering a $150,000 reward to help locate her, and it's been 2.5 years now.
Yeah, big reward. Investigators were so behind in this, though, because no one said anything for the first 2 years. So investigators having to make up a lot of time. I noticed yesterday they also opened up a manhole. And put a camera down into the manhole in the sewer system outside. What can you tell us about Manchester? Have you spent any time around there?
I spent a lot of time. Actually, I spent 8 years reporting and anchoring in Boston, and Manchester is included in that DMA. And there has been really a stunning rise in drug use in that city. It's something that the police chief there has spoken very openly about, something that he has actually attributed to a dramatic rise in various crimes, including violent crimes. And obviously we know that Harmony's mom was suffering from drug addiction, and you know, who knows what could have contributed to these.
The world she was living in is so heartbreaking. Mom was in rehab trying to get better. She's with dad, but it seems dad has his own issues, and now he's dealing with them. Stepmom as well has issues. So the investigation continues. They're being tight-lipped, but we did get that video. Joy Lim Nakrin, thank you so much. Let's bring in our investigators joining us tonight in Chicago, Illinois. Private investigator Erica Morris is with us in Salt Lake City, Utah. Joining us by phone tonight, private investigator Jason Jensen. And in Atlanta, Georgia, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, forensic media analyst and former senior investigator for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, Joseph Scott Morgan, joining us as well. Erica Morris, this little girl didn't have a chance. The world she was brought into put her in such a tough spot. 2 years, nobody says anything.
It put her in a tough spot, and then it was exacerbated by something called COVID-19. Because that is when our mandated reporters, our nurses, our doctors, of which Harmony was a patient. She was blind in her right eye. She was clearly getting medical attention. She had glasses. So she had been seen by doctors and nurses previously. But when COVID hit and parents were at home with their children and doctor's appointments were canceled and schools and preschools were canceled, no one was able to lay eyes on this child, to the extent that stepmom was able to defraud FSSA for, I believe it was 1.5 years or up to 2 years, about Harmony being a part of the home and living in the home. This is what I call the imperfect storm. And with everything we are seeing over the last 24 hours in the potential new evidence coming out of that home, it's sickening. I fear the worst. And having worked investigations like this, I don't think this is going to end well at all.
Joseph Scott Morgan, they brought a new refrigerator to the apartment, unboxed a brand new one, the FBI. They took out the old one. They wrapped it up. We saw them roll it into the truck. What are they doing with that refrigerator? What could they possibly find in that refrigerator?
Well, the new one is merely a replacement for the old one. It's domiciled right now by some new tenant. But as to the old one, this is my thought, Ben. They're looking for specific biological evidence contained within that refrigerator, and it could range from any number of things, from the smallest, when we begin to think about any kind of DNA remnant that might be in there. There are going to be other biologics that they're going to have to separate out. I mean, anything like beef that was stored in there, chicken, all those sorts of things, any other organic material that has a DNA signature. Then up to larger specimens where there might be a droplet of blood that might be specifically tied back to an individual, and any other kind of elements of a body at all that might be in there. And they have to get this refrigerator into a controlled environment. What was interesting to me, I hope that they got that refrigerator, that appliance, to a power source very, very soon, because in my experience in cases where you have refrigerated units that have contained bodies and these sorts of things, you have to maintain that refrigeration. I've worked cases where they have generators on the backs of trucks where, we don't touch the thing until we get it hooked up, get it back to the lab where we can have it in a controlled environment. And trust me, that's what they're doing right now, Ben.
There we see the refrigerator being loaded up. They also wrapped that plastic seal around it, whatever, some sort of plastic wrap as well. Jason Jensen, something else that happened yesterday. They opened up a manhole cover, taking a look at the sewers outside of this area. We see them lowering the cameras down there, and to me, that's a difficult search. First of all, we're 2.5 years later, number one, but number two, I mean, so much is going through that sewer system.
Oh yes, it's not at all a desirable environment to work in, for sure, because that is your sewage. You know, everything from your home, your neighbor's home, everything collects there and then runs down to the treatment plant. So what they're, you know, obviously looking for would be even human remains, if not, you know, evidence of a dismemberment, maybe if parts of a body were flushed down the toilet per se. So yeah, I've had a couple cases where they found bodies in manholes, and it's not very common, but it does happen.